Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So I thought while dinner's cooking I'd do a little bookend on the spring expo. So I'm back at the homestead, so I thought I would quickly go over the last couple of things, do an update on the Medano count and give some kind of final thoughts. I'll show a couple of pictures. I didn't really take a lot of pictures or video really this time around. It wasn't something that I basically made time for. I really wanted to focus my attention on chatting with folks. So I'll give you kind of an overall overarching thing, kind of close things off. Most of the pickups were already in the other video, and then a lot of the kind of the thoughts and the initial stories and everything I did with Yannick on the live stream. So if you haven't checked that out, I did do a live stream with Yannick where he was able to offer the perspective this time around of actually setting up as a dealer, which I thought made a good contrast. I'm obviously walking around as kind of a collector, looking for stuff, chatting with folks that I get a chance to chat with, which is great, getting a chance to chat with some new folks, which is really good as well. So the combination of those two things was my focus, although I did find some items, and I'll share a few of them with you here, especially a couple of them that I was able to pick up on Sunday. But overall, it was light in terms of pickups, although there was some nice stuff that I was able to grab. And then the other part of it really was just kind of enjoying the experience. But then Yannick was operating as a dealer, hanging out with the Burrell and working on a booth there. And honestly, that created a bit of a different experience and a different perspective that I thought was interesting to offer as a contrast to it. And it was nice because we had time to kind of go through it all. I kind of chat through it basically with the chat, and then also while I was watching the hockey game. So it was a win-win-win basically for everybody. So as I said, it was a pretty good result on it. Had a good time. I actually had some text messages earlier where some folks were kind of getting the lay of the land and kind of getting last thoughts on it. Also doing a little chatting back and forth. I will probably share a couple more stories with you basically in the AMG podcast that'll be coming up on Tuesday. And then I'll do a little bit as well on the podcast on the channel here that'll also drop on Tuesday. But between those two venues and the live stream, we'll definitely have a little bit of fun with that. Also, I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to put it in. There was actually something that was shared with us this weekend that was actually very funny as far as the YouTube channel is concerned. Not related to the Expo per se, but it was actually something very funny. I'll talk about it more probably on the podcast / live stream. Let me see if I can incorporate it in there somewhere, but it was very creative that was done. But let me finish kind of the thoughts on the Expo. As I said, it was very good. I had a good time chatting and hanging out with folks. It's always a good time as far as that piece is concerned. But as I said, there is still the element of the cards and the items. Now, I've got the last couple of items here that I did pick up. For the most part, I think I ended up adding 5 Medano cards to the collection, and I did also get another item. So I liked adding my autographs. I've really been focusing and emphasizing on that. But quickly, I'll show you a couple more items here. So I've got 2 Medano cards that I'll show you, and then I'm going to also show you one vintage card that I picked up, and I'll give you a quick story about that. And then I'll also, even though I'm not going to unfurl it, I'll give you a quick story about the last item, Medano item that I also picked up. Another autograph, but I'll share that in a second. So first is actually this one. This is from the new Tim Hortons set. They call it 2023-2024 Tim Hortons Collector Series. It's like this duos. So I'll show you. So there's Medano on the front. See if I can do that without the glare. A little tough, but nonetheless. There we go. It's a little better. So it's a duos. So basically you've got one player on one front, and then you got Turco on the back of this one. So that was a nice one here to add. And then this was probably my big pickup of the Sunday. And this was an O-Pee-Chee Premier Pairings. So there's 2 of these. There's one with Joe Mullen and Medano, and then there's another one with Medano and Mike Ribeiro. And there's a regular version of it, and then there's a patch version of it. And the regular version of it I have for both, and for the Joe Mullen I have both the patch and the regular version of it. And in this case I was missing the patch for the Ribeiro one, so now I do have that one. So let's see if I can do that without too much gloss. There we go. There you go. You can see it pretty good. It's not bad. So I did include that in my Instagram, so I do have an image of that. And then this one here was actually one that I picked up from Yannick. So as I said, he had set up as a dealer. So it was kind of nice to actually have, again, the contrasting experiences and get it from his perspective, which is really nice. But in this case, I was able to find, I did see a card that I thought was interesting. I'll show it to you, and then I'll also give you a quick rundown of this. So this is a 1960 Topps Willie McCovey rookie card in a PSA 3. So nice, pretty sharp looking card there. Nice piece that I was able to add. So I'm not officially collecting this set per se. It's one of those things where I don't think you've seen too much on that channel. Although if you go way back in the past, you've probably seen me pick up some 60 Topps in the past. This is one that I had been working on prior to kind of refocusing the vintage side of my collection. So the thing is, I'm still going to collect some of these sets. I've talked about before having a roadmap, and I do. For vintage, I do have a roadmap. I don't want to collect all the same stuff that I did before. I wasn't interested. I took a lot of sets off the list because honestly, I was never going to work on them and I was never going to finish them. But I still have the ones that I'm working on right now, which is the 53 Bowman Color and the 63 Fleer Baseball. So those are the 2 sets that I'm really focused on right now. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to pick up cards from other sets that are on the roadmap. And one of those sets that is on the roadmap is 1960 Topps, because I have probably about a third of the set basically that I accumulated previously, including the Mantle, including the Hank Aaron, I think the Willie Mays, and I did have a copy of the McCovey, but I believe the McCovey was a little bit beat up. I've still got to get the Yastrzemski, but nonetheless, I do have a fair number of the key cards in that set. I may upgrade a few, so this is a situation where it's an upgrade on one, which is nice to have. And then when I do get back to it, so basically my plan is, I'm working on the sets I'm working on right now. This was an opportunity, and again, also to help out Yannick with what he was doing, and he was having some success there as a dealer. So I was happy that he was able to, sell the card and make a little bit of money on it as well. And it was a good kind of a win-win situation where I've got a card that I'll be able to have in the collection, which is awesome, and then kind of support Yannick's efforts, as a dealer for the first time, which is very nice. But as a result of that, it means that I get to put this one away, so that when I do complete one of the sets, I'll probably then start working on the 53 tops a little bit more in earnest. But then when I finish the 63 Fleer, then I'll be able to start working on this one. And that's the one that I want to get back to working on because I do like the 60 top set. That is one of the ones that I do enjoy. And I've got a few more down the pipeline that I want to work on, but right now that's enough to keep me busy. So it was nice to be able to add that one to the collection. Now that does cover most of the pickups. There was one more here that I'll actually show you kind of from a distance. So we've got this tube here. And this is actually a poster from Upper Deck Authenticated. Now, I'm not going to unfurl this for you because even with the angle that I'm using on this camera, it'd be a little awkward to do so. But it's actually kind of cool. It does have the information on it. It's a Mike Modano 99 Stanley Cup 16x20 poster. Now, I actually was able to find on eBay an example of this exact same poster. So this isn't mine. This is actually from an eBay seller, so I will give them credit for it. You will actually be able to see a watermark where they put their eBay handle. So if you want to purchase one, you can go find it on theirs. So I'm going to slide over. So this poster here, that is the exact same poster that's in here. That's the exact same one that I'm looking at, 16x20, and it was very cool. And this one actually was courtesy of AMG. They were able to get themselves, and we'll probably talk a little bit more about it on the podcast episode. They were actually able to get a collection, I think, of Upper Deck authenticated items. And I'll share a little more of the story on the AMG podcast where the collector of the scallops, the collector of the people, Steve, was able to help me out on that one. And yeah, I was able to add that one to my collection. I think I'll probably frame it up and put it somewhere in the office, maybe on that wall. Even though you won't be able to see it, I will be able to. So it'll probably go in the office there once I get it in a nice frame. So that's it as far as pickups from the Fall Expo. I am going to update the Modano count here. So I'm sitting at 2,626 different Mike Modano cards with 317 autographs. So I have added some more from the Fall Expo with the different autograph cards that I picked up. We're not counting the poster, that's its own deal. And then 644 memorabilia cards with the different patch cards and stuff like that. So definitely nice to have another little bit of progress. I ended up adding 5 items to the Modano collection from that regard, which is great, especially since at this point I'm being a lot pickier. So really it's nice just to be able to add anything at this stage when being a little bit pickier. And I did pick up that one card, also an Emblems of Endorsement, on eBay, and took advantage of the eBay coupon to basically get free shipping on it, but that'll be coming in a mail day later on. So that one I'm not taking home in person. But these other ones are already in hand, and they've already been documented and scratched off the checklist, so to speak. Now, last thing I'll mention real quick, like I said, I'll show a handful of pictures. I was able to chat with my Canadian cards and a bunch of other folks. My Canadian cards I'm mentioning mainly because I do have a picture that I'll share. I think he shared it on his YouTube channel as well in terms of his YouTube video, so that's great. But then also I did get a chance to meet up with some other folks. It was kind of fun. Overall, it really was a great experience, and even though I didn't get a chance really to do any kind of walkthroughs or walkarounds, I will include a link in the description to a video that someone else did from the Friday of the Fall Expo, and they actually did a full walkthrough. So I want to give them credit for it and put it in the description there if you want to check it out. I think it's already had like 2,000 views or something, because on Friday they actually walked through the aisles. So if you want more of a thorough, you really want to get kind of the vibe on the Friday, they actually went all the way walking through. So one thing, if you pay attention, if you do end up watching it, check it out or break it up into pieces, because since he did a full walkthrough, it was almost 55 minutes. So it's literally a walkthrough, aisle by aisle, basically, and then all the way kind of through the aisleway, which is surrounded by dealers, all the way into the other hall section, which had its own thing going on with PSA and other things going on there, the graders, and they were in that section, but there were other dealers in that other hall as well. So they did do a pretty thorough job, and I have to give them credit for that. And if you pay attention, if you're eagle-eyed, you're going to notice a couple things. You will see them walk by the AMG booth, so that's one thing you'll be able to notice. But if you're even more eagle-eyed, especially if you saw the live stream and saw Yannick's face, you will probably be able to pick out that you'll be able to see a cameo appearance of Yannick as he does walk through one of the aisles there and passes by him. So I did notice that when I did a little bit of a watch through. I also recognize some other folks, but if you did watch the live stream, you'll be able to recognize Yannick. He'll stand out quite a bit with his beard as you walk by him, but he will be part of that video as you do walk through, because it is a legitimate walkthrough and it is a good kind of snapshot in time of kind of what it was like on Friday. So anyway, that's it. Another successful expo in the books. Took care of the spring expo here. We're going to enjoy now, kind of winding down and getting everything ready. I'll probably attend a couple of small shows, maybe a few of the CAC shows between now and the fall expo. But the fall expo is when things ramp up all over again, and that tends to be the busier one. So that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to start preparing. Now we've got some time. between now and November when we start preparing for that one, because that's the next big show. That'll be coming up down this neck of the woods. So again, I want to thank everybody that contributed, either people that I was able to purchase some items from or people that I was able to hang out and say hello. So a lot of good stories, a lot of fun. But we'll close the book on another expo here and prepare ourselves for the next one. So that's it for me. More videos coming up on the channel, live streams on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be back to the regular schedule this Friday, where we keep doing the longest running episodic, whatever it is. I still don't know. Someday I'll figure it out. I'm hoping before episode 200 we figure it out. I got nothing. Anyway, comments are welcome. Feel free. Like if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much, and we'll catch you in the next one.